Queen Elizabeth II, a monarch renowned for her regal presence, was never just a figurehead or a distant symbol of power. Her reign spanned decades, and through the ups and downs of history, she stood as a beacon of continuity. Yet, beneath the crown and the robes of state, there were moments that revealed her humanity, warmth, and sharp sense of humor. From Marilyn Monroe's curtsy to a queen who needed no introduction, respect met royalty, and Hollywood knew its place. But family came first, whether it was a garden kiss from William and Catherine or even scolding a mischievous Shetland pony for trying to eat her flowers. These were the instances where Queen Elizabeth was not just a sovereign. She was witty, warm, and unmistakably human. One moment stood out when the Queen was asked if the crown was heavy. With a playful smirk, she replied, "Because if you did, your neck would break or it would fall off." Her royal wit was as sharp as the jewels on her crown. The crown may have weighed heavily, but it never dulled her spirit or sense of humor. There were also moments when the Queen, even in the full force of her monarchy, was nothing more than a grandmother chasing after a young Prince William, who had sprinted after the wedding carriage of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. Even as monarch, she was still very much Granny. When children showed her handmade flower crowns, she smiled warmly and said, "Looks awfully uncomfortable, like a bird's nest." Even her jokes, it seemed, wore a tiara, as charming and delicate as the flowers adorning her. On a hospital tour, when she found a student nurse resting in bed, her response was as dry as it was hilarious. "Sometimes it's all right, I suppose," she said, causing the room to erupt in laughter. It was classic Queen Elizabeth, never afraid to surprise with humor. And when peering at a tiny hat, she quipped, "Large head for a small hat, unlike me." The young staffer laughed and replied, "That's interesting. I'll remember that." Her words stuck with people, in part because of their simplicity and wit. She also enjoyed the smaller joys of life. Watching an itchy piglet rub up against a bin, she simply chuckled. No stiff upper lip, just pure delight in the moment, showing that the Queen was not above enjoying life's lighter, more spontaneous moments. At one point, when attempting to cut a cake, she got the knife stuck, leading to a moment of shared laughter with Princess Anne. It was as if the Queen ruled over a tea party, not a kingdom. She didn't just govern, she lived, laughed, and shared the little struggles of everyday life. Duty, too, didn't stop her from enjoying the biggest and smallest creatures. Whether feeding bananas to an elephant with Prince Philip or sharing an unfiltered moment with a squirrel, she showed the world that even a monarch could find joy in the simplest of things. In moments of public appearance, like at King's College London, the Queen stood center stage, surrounded by admirers, yet her presence was never overshadowed. Even Princess Catherine stepped back, wearing muted tones, allowing the Queen to shine, as she always did, her radiance undisputed. It wasn't just her own people who recognized her shine. In 1976, during the bicentennial celebrations, President George Bush joked that she was from the 1700s. The Queen, with perfect timing, teased him back at dinner, displaying her timeless nature and her sharp wit. One of the most endearing aspects of her life as monarch was her deep connection with her family. Queen Elizabeth scolded young William often, gently and publicly, like any grandmother would. Even as he grew older, that voice still echoed, reminding him to stand up straight. Her family knew that, second in line or not, she expected presence and poise from those closest to her. Then came June 2, 1953. A young Queen Elizabeth II, just 27 years old, walked into Westminster Abbey. Already bearing the weight of a nation, she sat alone on the coronation chair, solemn, still, and poised. As the golden layers were draped over her shoulders, she wasn't just wearing a dress, she was being transformed. With scepters in hand and a crown lowered onto her head, Elizabeth didn't simply become queen, she became a symbol. When Prince Philip bowed and kissed her hand, it wasn't just as consort, it was as a witness to history. The Second Elizabethan Age had begun. Through the years, Queen Elizabeth II was brighter than even the biggest stars. No matter who stood beside her, the crown always stole the spotlight. She knighted Paul McCartney in 1997, and by 2018 she honored him again, this time as a Companion of Honor, one of Britain's highest awards. Two icons, one unforgettable bond, each a representation of their respective realms, one in music, the other in monarchy. In 1953, the Queen met the cast of Rob Roy, Gary Cooper, Alec Guinness, Jean Crane, Dirk Bogarde, Jack Hawkins. But even among legends, she was the moment. Marilyn Monroe herself curtsied before the Queen, starstruck. The Queen, though younger, outshone even Hollywood's finest. Madonna, the Queen of Pop, curtsied as well. Even pop royalty knew when they'd met the real thing. Lady Gaga bowed deeply before her, still in her stage costume. Even in glitter and lace, respect was non-negotiable in her presence. No matter the time, no matter the place, the Queen commanded respect, effortlessly. At London Fashion Week, the Queen shared a laugh with Anna Wintour. Not even Vogue could outstyle the monarch. And in an encounter with rock royalty, Brian May, Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, and Jeff Beck, Queen Elizabeth had no idea who she was meeting. So, Brian May, the guitarist from Queen, gently stepped in to help the Queen figure out who was who. It was a queen explaining rock royalty to another queen, a royal crossover unlike any other. In another instance, football royalty came in the form of David Beckham, who shook her hand and shared a laugh with her during the Queen's Young Leaders program. A star beside a star, both shining in their own right. But one of Queen Elizabeth's most unexpected friendships was with Monty Roberts, the American horse whisperer known for his gentle approach to training horses without whips or force. The Queen invited him to Windsor more than 200 times, captivated by his respectful and calm methods. Monty admired her for her genuine love of horses, kindness, and commitment to doing things differently. She didn't need to prove she was in charge, he once said. She was a sovereign to millions and a soft voice in the stables. In quieter moments, her family always remained at the center. Prince William kissed her on the cheek during the Chelsea Flower Show, and Catherine followed with a curtsy. A simple garden moment, blooming with quiet love and admiration. At Windsor, Prince William gently explained a new bronze horse sculpture to her, not just as a prince guiding his queen, but as a grandson helping his nan. In 1985, 6 prime ministers crowded for a photo at Margaret Thatcher's house. The Queen, with her impeccable sense of humor, cracked a joke that made her laugh aloud, showing that even in the most formal of settings she never lost her warmth. Another memorable moment occurred when the Shetland pony, Lance Corporal Cruikshank IV, the proud mascot of the Regiment of Scotland, tried to nibble her bouquet. The Queen responded with a quick grin and a sharp, "It's too late," before hiding the flowers behind her back, as if protecting a snack from a mischievous child. Even in the face of a painting of her younger self during a visit to Germany, the Queen blinked at the resemblance. "And that is supposed to be my father?" she seemed to ask, a rare moment of surprise in her otherwise unflappable demeanor. She even tried her hand at betting on horses and won 16 pounds, flashing a mischievous grin that only royalty could pull off. It was a perfect example of her never-ending charm. On Mother's Day, Prince Charles and Camilla served her breakfast in bed. She fed puppies under the covers, proving that even queens deserve those cozy, intimate moments with family. And in one final charming moment, when the young queen tried to disembark from a car, the step was too high. With a quick request for help, she gracefully leapt from the car, a queen showing elegance with just a little hop. During her 90th birthday parade, Prince Philip knocked on the roof of the car and whispered, "Hurry up." And the queen simply smiled, showing that no matter her age, she could still enjoy the lightheartedness of life. At Prince William's graduation, the queen beamed like any proud grandmother, and as Catherine graduated alongside him, it was clear to her that the future was in good hands. She wore a crown, she led a nation, but moment after moment she chose connection over duty. A kiss from a grandson, a laugh with a nurse, a joke shared over tea or ponies or prime ministers. She was never just the queen, she was the calm hand, the knowing smile, the warmth behind the legacy. This has been the best moments with Queen Elizabeth. Subscribe to the channel for more royal softness and timeless grace. If your heart's a little fuller, watch the next one.